A new poll in Canada reveals something surprising. Many young Canadians are considering joining the United States, but only if certain conditions are met. So, let's break it down. First, here's a big question for you. Would Canadians want to become Americans? Surprisingly, 43% of young Canadians aged between 18 to 34 said yes, but only if they were guaranteed US citizenship and if they could convert their money to US dollars without any loss. Well, sounds shocking, right? But there's more. According to several reports, young men in particular are feeling uncertain about the direction of Canada. They are facing challenges, whether it's related to the economy or personal opportunity. The idea of being American with the more potential to earn and live comfortably appeals to them. In fact, many Canadians feel like the country's future isn't as secure as it used to be, specifically with comments from US President-elect Donald Trump, who has often joked about Canada being the 51st state. But wait, don't worry. Most Canadians are still proud of their country. About 80% of Canadians say that if given a choice between staying in Canada or joining the United States, they would choose to stay in Canada. Now, this shows a strong sense of national pride. Even though Trump's comments about Canada becoming part of the United States raises a lot of concern, most Canadians do not take them too seriously. However, nearly 48% believes that Trump's remark threatened Canada's independence. Now, here's a provisional divide. Interestingly, there is a divide between different provinces. For example, in Alberta and Quebec, some people have expressed the desire to separate from Canada. 20% of people in Canada believes that Canada and the United States will eventually merge, although 80% disagrees with that. A separate poll shows that 27% of people think that Alberta or Quebec might try to leave Canada in next 10 years. But you know what? Young generation is actually scared. Young Canadians specifically seem more concerned about their future. They believe that Canada's stability is at risk. They feel that the country's position in the world might not be as secure as before, and they are increasingly worried about how the United States could affect Canada's independence. Now, if we see it from an Indian perspective, then for Indians living in Canada or considering migration, this issue is of particular interest. Many Indian immigrants have already built successful lives in Canada, often seeking a balance between security and peace of life in Canada. And how can we forget about the high-paying jobs opportunity in the United States? The choice between staying in Canada with its more progressive policy and moving to the United States with its bigger economic opportunity, it is actually a debate that resonates among Indian youth too. Now, in India, we have seen a rising trend of young Indians looking at job prospects in both the countries. This discussion about Canada's future is specifically relevant for those deciding whether to migrate to Canada or the United States for a better future. Interestingly, similar debates about national identity and security are happening in India too. Much like the 80% of Canadians who wish to stay in the country, that's a large portion of Indian youth who are committed to making India a greater place rather than seeking opportunity abroad. However, with the rising demand for United States visa and job, we can also see a shift towards looking for opportunities outside India for better pay and high standard of living. In a similar vein, the idea of merging or influence of another nation is a topic that resonates with Indians in various countries. Whether in Canada or in the United States, many are questioning what makes their home country unique and what the future holds as global policy evolves. So, in conclusion, would Canadians want to join the United States? Most would want to stay loyal to their country, but for many, specifically the youth, the idea of the US citizenship is actually appealing, provided the benefits are very clear. For Indian immigrants or those looking to migrate, the choice between Canada and the United States might come down to opportunity, stability, and identity, much like what we see in these Canadian surveys.